Across the sea, in what is now mainland Turkey, one man would demand 400 statues, all to honor himself. He was King Mausolus, and they would adorn the first and grandest mausoleum. Each of the 7 wonders was a marvel of engineering, and each had their own unique qualities. The Great Pyramid of Giza was a tomb created as a vast but simple geometric form. There existed another tomb that stunned the civilized world with its ornate beauty and the hundreds of statues that covered it. The once great city of Halicarnassus is now the small town of Bodrum in southwest Turkey. In the 4th century BC, Halicarnassus was the capital of Caria, part of the Persian Empire, and home to the region's ruler, King Mausolus. In the hope of creating a dynasty and to keep the royal line intact, he married his sister, Artemisia. Legend has it that around 350 BC, she built a tomb, the mausoleum, to honor his memory.
But King Mausolus, not many people have heard of him. So to have made it onto the list of the 7 ancient wonders, there must have been something truly magnificent about the structure itself.
No ancient images of the mausoleum have survived. Julian's able to describe the structure thanks to Pliny's account.
This was the original ground level, and then on top of that, the whole area would have been filled with the podium of the mausoleum. It's kind of like a gigantic wedding cake.
Pliny tells us that the tomb was 140 feet tall, around twice the height of this minaret tower. So it's clear that most of the stones that made up the mausoleum have gone. Probably the bulk of the mausoleum structure must have been solid, with no internal spaces. Pliny also tells us that on top of the podium was a colonnade and pyramidal roof, and a find in the castle walls reveals another, a solid podium 60 feet in height, supporting a colonnade of 36 columns, each nearly 10 feet apart. A stepped pyramid roof stood on top. But this in itself is not what made this monument a wonder of the world. Pliny writes of a building adorned with fabulous statues and reliefs. On this site, only fragments of statues have ever been found. A 16th century account describes stonework and statues being broken up and fed into kilns. They would make lime for the mortar which held the stones of Bodrum Castle together. 2 great statues have been reassembled, however. Replicas of them stand by the castle gates.
So here we have copies of 2 of the statues from the mausoleum. This is the statue that many people think is Mausolus himself, and a statue of a woman who many people believe is Artemisia.
And would these statues, or many others like them, have gone all the way around the mausoleum?
Yes, the general belief is that the freestanding statues were on 3 basic levels. 1 level at the podium, and then there were 2 levels of statues around the top part, the column part as well.
Knowing the size of these statues and the dimensions of the mausoleum, some experts have estimated that up to 400 figures ringed its walls. According to Pliny, a magnificent 4-horse chariot stood on top. Remains found in the rubble of the site give just a glimpse of its former glory.
This was a 4-horse chariot. That was all made of marble with metal fittings for the horse harness and so forth. But what nobody knows is whether there was anybody in the chariot. This is the big question.
Putting together the physical evidence with the words of the ancient authors, we can now build up a convincing picture of what the mausoleum of Halicarnassus may have looked like. It was an immense 3-tiered structure consisting of podium, colonnade, and roof. Clad in brilliant marble, it dominated the landscape. Friezes and around 400 freestanding statues stood on every surface. And on top, a 4-horse chariot.
For me, the most important thing about the mausoleum is that it was built for this ruler, Mausolus. It was all about this one king's legacy, and as a result, it exemplifies the influences that he was exposed to both politically and geographically. So you have these vast marble colonnades, a pyramid, an extraordinary chariot on top, and this means the mausoleum in its total structure looks like nothing that's ever been seen before.
Such was the majesty of King Mausolus's tomb. The word mausoleum entered our language for good.